Hi everyone, welcome to Abnormal Psychology. This is the first section of Unit 1 notes. Just a quick glance of what the typical teenager's brain looks like. Throughout the semester, we are going to take a look at the following questions. What causes abnormal behavior? What is the difference between mental illness and behaving strangely? How do we judge a behavior as normal versus abnormal? How common are psychological disorders? Are the same mental disorders seen in different cultures? First, we are going to look at some myths and realities associated with abnormal behavior. The first model we are going to look at is the medical model as it is applied to abnormal behavior. This model proposes that it is useful to think of abnormal behavior as a disease. Also, this point of view is the basis for many terms associated with abnormal psychology, such as mental illness, psychological disorder, and this really was the dominant way of thinking during the early 18th and 19th centuries. Prior to this, I want you to perhaps think about how psychologists and or society treated people who had abnormal behavior. The medical model compares abnormal behavior to a disease. And this is useful, but please remember that it is only a comparison or an analogy. There are also three terms associated with this idea, that is diagnosis, etiology, and prognosis. Diagnosis distinguishes one illness from another. Etiology is an apparent causation and developmental history of an illness. And third, prognosis is a forecast about the probable course of an illness. The criteria of abnormal behavior include, first, deviance, which is behavior that deviates from what their society considers acceptable, and this could vary from culture to culture. Second, maladaptive behavior. Everyday adaptive behavior is impaired, or it interferes with a person's social or occupational functioning. And third, personal distress. People troubled by depression or anxiety disorders. Consider the definitions on the previous slide. We are going to read through these scenarios and decide which term best fits each scenario. Number 1, Boris believes that he's Napoleon reborn. He believes that he is destined to lead the U.S. military forces into a great battle to recover California from space aliens. Seems realistic. No, that is not realistic. Which term from the previous slide best fits in this scenario? I'll give you a couple seconds to think about it. The answer is deviance. If you don't understand how I came to that conclusion, just send me a quick message and we'll talk a little bit more about it in detail. The second scenario, Natasha panics with anxiety whenever she leaves her home. Her problem escalated gradually until she was absent from work so often that she was fired. I'll give you a couple seconds to ponder that one as well. And hopefully you came to the conclusion that the answer is maladaptive behavior. So that's it for the first section of Unit 1. Please make sure that you complete all the other items in this folder and send me a message or an email if you have an issue with anything, and I look forward to working with you this semester.